Hey there. Hey guys. Welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Married to Medicine review. And let me say something. I did enjoy this. It didn't give what I thought it was going to give, but it was still a good episode. I don't understand how women who hardly spoke to Quad last season are shocked in learning that she has been keeping her dating life private. When exactly were they expecting for her to let them know that she was seeing someone when they were having her come to places like Napa, hop on flights just to be dismissed and sent back home? So why would she give that part of herself to you all when y'all couldn't even make sure that she secured a check? Because let's be real, I get the whole situation with them feeling like she just comes around for filming and all those other things, and that very may well be the case. But y'all were trying to play with that girl's money. So I don't blame her for not including them on certain things. But let's go ahead and get into it. Like the video. It helps the channel. So the episode begins with the montage of the ladies. Phaedra's talking to her son about going to high school. Contessa is fussing with her daughter about eating all the pineapples. Jackie is doing what she always does at the beginning of a montage, which is seeing patients. And Simone is struggling. So we park our hats again, like last week with Simone. Simone's stomach is bubbling because she did too much at the party. She drank too much, she mixed too much, and now she is at home to be near the bathroom. So the subject of Quad comes up and Cecil apologizes and he's like, look, I'm sorry that I invited Quad. I thought that me inviting her would be a step to you guys getting back on track. And I just want you all to be in a place where you can mend fences. Simone's like, yeah, I get it. She's your favorite, huh? And that's why you want this to happen. And he's like, no, not necessarily. You got to remember, I did the same thing with you and Jackie. And we get a flashback to 2020, I believe it was, where Cecil encouraged her to reach out because Jackie had made the first step. Simone is very much so involved in a lot of dynamics that are split. And Simone used to be my favorite. Like, if I'm being honest, my two favorite cast members at the very beginning of this whole franchise was Simone and Mariah. Over time, I liked Quad. Then I kind of went back and forth between all of them. But Simone used to be my girl. But I've just realized that Simone struggles with letting things go because nothing that was done to her, in my opinion, by Quad warrants her always feeling like Quad is supposed to come crawling on her knees to be friends with her. Simone says, we always mend things and then we get right back to where we were before. We're doing great. And then one tweet will change everything. So she's like, Quad has to decide what she wants to do. And I think what Quad wants to do is Quad wants to be cool with you for the purposes of this show. Quad wants to be your friend, but I don't think she wants to be the type of friend where she divulges too much to you all. Because let's be clear, even though at one point they were very close, they're not in that space anymore, number one. Number two, you guys were okay with bringing back the man on the show that she had issues with, that whether he wants to admit being physically abusive with her, he was emotionally and financially abusive with her. Y'all are okay with having her be around him. So of course she's not going to divulge certain things to you guys. That's my opinion. So we see Tisha and Dr. G go out on a date. They're talking about role play and babies. They're going to this place because it's a place she saw on TikTok. So they're talking about the things that they like. Like he likes seeing her dressed as a nerd and she likes seeing him dressed as a nerd. It's just her putting on some glasses. They do seem happy. They do. I think that Dr. G needs someone that he can feel like he's over top of, someone that very much so caters to him, someone that has time for him. And at this point, Sweetie provides that. Now, I don't know if she's going to get tired of him, but for right now, they look like they're happy together and they complement each other. They then start talking about Heavenly, and Tisha doesn't know how to move on because she says that Heavenly keeps running her mouth. Dr. G is still upset because of how, in his words, reckless Heavenly was and how Damon didn't check her. He says he's experienced a wife like Heavenly before. Now, Dr. G, you don't want this man to talk about your wife. So you might want to chill out a little bit about the comparison there to Heavenly and Quad. They're then talking about how maybe he's afraid of Dr. Heavenly and things of that nature. And I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Heavenly was wrong, but all of them are wrong. The both of them are upset, saying that their wives said things and neither one of them stepped in for one another and neither of them are checking the wives, when everybody just needs to be quiet and stop talking about each other. Dr. Damon shouldn't have any expectations about Dr. G when he himself isn't checking his wife. And Dr. G shouldn't have any expectations of Dr. Damon when he didn't check Sweetie for saying the things that he says. He's acting like Sweetie hasn't said anything when Sweetie too has said some things. Yes, Heavenly May has said some things. Sweetie started it, in my opinion, and Heavenly took it too far. Because once she said what she said, all you had to do was make your one little comment and leave it alone. But Heavenly doesn't know when to stop. And Heavenly thinks that just because she apologizes, that makes a difference. So, Heavenly says her and, we see her and Dr. Damon talking as he's setting up his drums, talking about how he missed music. He hasn't really had time for it. So Heavenly is mad because she can't believe that Sweetie approached her man. I get it, but like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? End of that. We see Jackie meet up with Cash Doll for her checkup. She's a rapper / actress. I want to know if any celebrities see anybody other than Dr. Jackie, because I don't see as many with Simone. And I don't know if that's because all Jackie does is give that aspect of herself and we don't really get to see a lot of other things, but it is what it is. Have y'all noticed that Curtis is present in a lot of scenes now? Y'all know we were talking before about how Curtis was missing in action, and now Curtis is here. Jackie very much so reads the comment section. Anyways, so we're reminded about Black women and how important it is to make sure that we are paying attention to our bodies and signs like that during pregnancy, because our needs sometimes go unmet. Jackie talks about how, I think she said, Black women make up 2% of the medical field. I think she said, don't quote me on it, but it's a low number. And she tells Cash Doll to make sure that she's monitoring her pressure. As I hear her talking, it just reminds me how thankful I am for my doctors. My doctor, when I was having my son, I was high risk because my cervix is short. And towards the end, I had high blood pressure. And when I say that my nurse practitioner was on it, she was on it. At 6 months, I was seeing her every week. And I didn't even have high blood pressure then. I had high blood pressure for the last 2 weeks of my pregnancy. And then they made me have him because of that. So everything happens for a reason. And you definitely have to pay attention to your body. So I like when they do these segments like this for people who are unaware. All right, enough of that. So on to Quad. Quad is having a night in Paris celebration for her 43rd birthday. She is trying to be in a good place with everybody, so she's inviting majority of them to her party. She points out that she apologized to everybody in New York, but if we look back, we didn't see anybody apologizing to her. I need Quad to understand that you don't apologize to people with expectations that they're going to give you an apology back. But I do think that she deserved an apology for the way that they treated her. I do not think it was right. I don't like how they tried to ice her out. I don't like how they thought it would be okay for them to be filming with Sweet Tea and doing all those other things if they really cared about Quad. I do think that they should have had certain conversations off camera with Quad, and I don't think that they did that. Now, am I saying don't do the show if they're going to be up there? No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you really care about this girl, then show her you care about her by doing those things. So her first stop is to Simone's office. So she has two ladies dressed up in flight gear, and they ask for Dr. Simone. She comes up to the front and they say, on behalf of Quad Air, you are invited to a night in Paris. And Simone is like, oh, nice. It's a bit much, but where is Quad? And they're like, she's outside in the Rolls Royce. So she goes outside. She's like, ooh, money. They greet each other with a hug. She says, even though they've yet to talk, Quad has made a step by inviting her, and she's gonna go. One thing about Quad and Simone is I like when they're in a good place because their energy is infectious and they do bounce off of each other. So I hope that they actually get to that place in this season and they stay in it. So we see Contessa and Tisha, they're hanging out playing pool. And they're basically filming together because neither one of them like Heavenly, and that's their line. I just feel like it. Like, I don't understand how out of all the people, these two people are so close and they're hanging out and doing stuff together. So they discuss Heavenly and how Heavenly talks a bunch of crap on her YouTube page and in her closet. And we get flashes of Heavenly talking mess about the various couples. Some of the things that she said about Contessa and her husband, some of which was true, but how it's too much. So the doorbell rings. And Contessa, for whatever reason, tells Tisha to come with her to answer the door. Did the production ask you to do that? Or was this like you just didn't want to leave her downstairs by herself by the balls? Like, what is up with that situation? Weird. So Quad is waiting out in the car as the, I don't know if they're flight attendants, captains, as the ladies approach and give the whole spill, inviting her to the party. And, you know, she goes over to the car and Tisha isn't invited. Tisha is standing in the door looking at this. She hears the invite and everything. The moment that I heard that invite, you wouldn't see me on camera anymore. I would have dipped off to the side or something like that. But Tisha was standing there watching the whole thing. So Contessa goes, gives Quad a hug and whatever else. And she tells her, you know, T's inside, say hi. And Quad's like, I gotta go, bye. I said, oh, okay, this is what we're doing this season. Quad said, I'm up here now. I don't gotta fake like I want to be cordial with her. Okay, Quad, I see you. So Tisha says she doesn't care about not getting an invite. She wouldn't have went anyway. So one of the other ladies in the car are like, who was the old lady at the door? Now, come on now. Does Tisha look her age? No, but she doesn't look old. And y'all have probably watched the show, so that didn't give what they thought it would give. I thought it was a little childish and a little petty because y'all love age shaming people. Like, does she look older? Yeah, but does she look old? No. On to Quad's event space. So it's 3 hours before the event and the space is coming together. She wants to make sure that it gives sexy. She suggests to have the girls that passed out the invites to stand up front to pour mixers. So we see Jackie and Heavenly shopping. They let us know that they got to find something. Jackie's like, you know, she's over the top, so I got to make sure that I'm, you know, dressing the part. I'm not mad at the whole situation. So we see Contessa, Toya, and Simone getting ready together. Simone looks beautiful. I love Simone's hair in that shot. Like, she needs it looked really, really pretty. Toya is looking at the outfits that they're picking, and especially Contessa's, because we know Contessa's, her style is, you know, questionable. And she's like, girls, do y'all not realize we're going? Y'all got on Party City outfits. Like, what are we doing here? Especially knowing how Quad is. So they talk about how Sweet Tea was at Contessa's house when the invitations were given out, and she felt bad. Toya points out how, you know, Quad showed up at Tisha's party uninvited, and she feels like she should have invited her. And y'all may disagree, I don't feel like she should have. It's her birthday party. It's a celebration. They're not like that. I don't think that Quad should have showed up at Tisha's party, and I said that. So she doesn't know if she says Quad misses what she had, because at this point, Tisha has everything now. I don't think that that's the case. I think that Quad was very much so happy to leave Dr. G. I think that Quad was unhappy. I think that Quad got to the point where she disliked him. And I don't see what exactly, man or not, Quad would be jealous of, because Quad has done well for herself. She has a beautiful home. She is financially stable. Like, she's done well. So what exactly is she missing other than the man? And she can get that man from anywhere. So Toya says, when are y'all, Simone, gonna stop being fake and talk? Because, me and Quad aren't in a great place, but we are growing. She said Quad came from a really sincere place when they were in New York, and because she was so sincere, she felt like they can begin the steps to try to mend things. And she's just in a place where she and Quad both agree that they're not going to allow other people's dynamics to dictate the way that they are with each other. And I respect that. I do think that Quad was wrong with a lot of the stuff that she did towards Toya, and Toya had every reason to be upset with her. And I think it speaks volumes that they're in this place now where they're going to be cordial with one another and see what comes of it. Simone talks about how it's been 5 years of her and Quad going back and forth, and she does owe Quad an apology for New York, but she not going to keep on apologizing to Quad, but you want her to keep on apologizing to you. Toya says, that's not the issue. The issue just isn't New York. It's Napa. It's the way things were in Napa, which is true. She doesn't like the way that she was handled during the trip. If they truly want to resolve things, then what they need to do is stop talking to everybody else, sit down and have a real heart-to-heart with each other. I get that they are filming a show, but I think that it's clear that both of them need to have conversations where they both are listening rather than both trying to prove their point. Because both of them, both Quad and Simone, hold grudges. They do. And that's part of the reason why they go back and forth as much as they do, because neither one of them let things go. So we see the ladies heading to the event. Jackie feels like this is going to be a big year for Quad, so they get to the venue. It's beautiful. Nicolette is the venue owner, and she goes over to speak to Ms. Toya, Dr. Simone, and Contessa at the time. Dr. Simone is like, who put this together? Interesting thing to ask. Because who goes to a party and said, who put this together? But she says, who put this together? And Nicolette says, her boyfriend did all of this. I love that that's the way that they found out that she had a boyfriend. I love it. Because y'all want to keep on not inviting her to things and acting like she's just so desperate for a man, the men included. And here she is, and she's like, look, I didn't have one the whole time. Y'all just didn't know it. So Simone's like, this proves my point. That she doesn't share things with us, that she doesn't, tell us her life. The ladies say that she's secretive and they don't even know how long she's been in a relationship. And then Toya's like, she don't even invite us to her house. Like, I've been over to her house one time. Well, if you gonna talk about me and expect me to invite you over to my house, that's not gonna happen. My house is my safe space. So no, you're not gonna come over there. They barely talk to her. They try to get her off the show, and you expect her to make you guys privy of what's going on with her life. I wouldn't do it either. So Heavenly walks in and says that anything that she does at this point is because of the shot she took at the door. Heavenly gives Contessa a hug again, and Simone quickly, now Contessa makes some snarky remark, but Contessa, if you don't want to hug Heavenly, then say you don't want to hug Heavenly. Anyway, so Simone asks about, Quad's man. She's like, Heavenly, did you know anything about her having a man? And Heavenly's like, no. And if I did, it would have gave me time to Google him and find out more about him. So we leave there and we flash to the guys. This scene annoyed me, but Cecil and the guys are all meeting. We see Dr. G and Dr. D dap each other up. Cecil says, I'm glad that we were all able to get out. Greg, your ex-wife, said that we didn't have to go to her party. So thank you to your ex-wife. You ain't have to say all of that, Cecil, but whatever. He says, no, thank you to my current for that because, she let me slip out. She didn't go to the event. He's saying it like she just didn't choose to go. She wasn't invited. So Eugene says it makes sense that she didn't go. Dr. G says, I hope that she's, happy, and I hope that she finds someone that makes her happy too. Eugene says he doesn't understand why her happiness has to be correlated to her being in a relationship, whether relationship should determine if she's happy and if she's moved on. And I agree. Curtis then says, as far as he's concerned, Quad says she moved on a long time ago and she's fine. And she did. Dr. G says, Quad says a lot of stuff. Dr. G, she's not thinking about you. She's not. She hasn't been thinking about you for a long time. And the fact that he likes to make people think that is like, okay, we watched the show. It's evident that she's not thinking about you. So back at Quad's party, they are checking out every man that comes through the door. It's weird. Heavenly is even questioning guys saying, are you Quad's man? Are you Quad's boyfriend? Are you Quad's man? Phaedra's like, they're sitting here acting like this. Of course Quad's dating. Right. Quad, she said she was dating before. Y'all think just because you see someone or don't see someone, that means something. People are going to make you privy to what they want you to be privy to. So Quad enters the room in her crystal outfit and she looks good. She gets on the microphone and calls the special person to the front and her man comes out. And the ladies say he's yummy and he's sexy and he's stylish and he's handsome and he's young. Toya says, she gave up I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What word is it? Some with an L. And now she got vitamins. She tells, him that she's grateful for him and she thanks him for paying for the party. You don't got to say all that, Quad. You don't got to, you can say things without saying things, but you thankful for him and he paid for the party and they kiss. We find out that she met him through a mutual friend and they've been together ever since. They've been together for a year. And I said, that's how you do it. You don't have to make all your moves known. So Heavenly's like, I don't think she's lying, but where this man been for a year? I've been talking to her in the morning, in the afternoon, and he must be quiet because he doesn't say anything. Or maybe he has a job. Or maybe he's out when you talk to him. Like, people don't got to make you privy to everything that they have going on. So Toya's like, Quad goes up to them and she's like, I know one person is missing, but I just didn't send the invite. And Toya doesn't like it. She's mad that she left T out. She's like, I'm gonna say what everybody else wants to say, but everybody else is gonna be fake and act like they don't want to say it. And Jackie says, are you crazy? Why would I ever invite my husband, ex-wife, to my party? And I feel the same way as Jackie. They're not in that place. They didn't create a friendship. See, here's the thing. This show was a show that Quad was on. This lady came on the show that Quad was on. And for whatever reason, they allowed it. So with that being said, is it a double standard for Quad to expect to pop up at her event and not think that Tisha would do it to her? Yeah, it is. But to be fair, also, Quad's event was on a much grander scale than what Tisha's was. And Quad was just trying to make money because they were kicking her out all the scenes. So Simone thanks her for the invite, tells her she's happy to see her happy. They embrace. Simone's like, look, this party is a step for her in the right direction because not only did she share that she had a boyfriend with us, but she's introduced him to us. Y'all, I was very underwhelmed when she introduced him because his voice didn't match his body. Like, I was a little disappointed. I don't know. I just wanted it to be a little deeper. His voice isn't like Greg's, but it's not that far. So Simone says at this point she needs year-round consistency, and Contessa's still stuck on him being younger. I don't know how much younger he is, but let's be clear. Melanated people, a lot of us don't look our age. So you don't know how old the man is. Okay, back to the guys. So G brings up the ladies beefing. Dr. Damon said he don't care anyway. Either way, he's kind of over it. And at some point, Dr. G says, you're over it, but you got to kind of be like, whoa. Damon says he's not worried about the ladies beefing, that Heavenly gets along with everybody. And Eugene is like, Heavenly has the ability to get along with everyone. He's like us, because we're like, what in the world? So he says, Damon, are you okay? Did you fall and hit your head? Because you got to know that your wife has done some stuff. But Damon is on one here, because he's not going to call his wife out. And I just feel like, why are we having this discussion if we're not going to be open and honest about how everybody needs to improve in this situation? So Dr. G says Heavenly put him in it, saying that he's not respected in the medical community and talking about his practice. He's like, man, she goes in. And Damon says, why are you so sensitive? Now, Damon, so are you. Because you feel a way about him not speaking up on your behalf, and how as a friend he should have did certain things. As a friend, so should you. But at this point, I don't really feel like they're friends. He says, don't keep talking about my wife. He says, you coming at me when your wife is the one saying stuff about me, and you coming at me saying that I'm sensitive, and it makes me sensitive because I'm addressing it. Damon says, his goal is not to be upset with Sweet Tea, but her saying what she said bothers him, and he doesn't like the fact that for 12 years after knowing him, that Dr. G didn't stand up for him. I just feel like nobody sees the parts that they're playing. Y'all all need to be quiet, and everybody should not talk about, no one should be discussing anyone's business, because if the roles were reversed, Damon would be upset if Sweet Tea did that to him. So Damon then says that he feels like this situation affected the way that he cares for his patients. And I don't understand, and y'all tell me if you got what it meant, because I tuned out at some point with the back and forth, because the same conversation over and over. But is he talking about referrals, or is he talking about Dr. G turning away Dr. Damon's patients? Because something ain't right here. Now, Dr. G said, he's been very busy and he would never do that. And I just don't know if I believe that. I think that I could see him being salty and getting back at him too, because it's clear that their dynamic isn't what it was. So Damon lies and says that it's all good, but it's clearly not. Dr. G tells us, in confessional, that he still wants him to redirect Heavenly, and you need to redirect your wife too. Both of y'all do. They didn't solve anything. Cecil said it feels kind of superficial, and it is, because nothing is solved in this situation. Bottom line is, Sweet Tea brought up Heavenly, claiming that, Heavenly told her that what Mariah said might be true, and then Heavenly went from there. Neither one of them are right, and y'all ladies just need to be quiet. But you guys, let me know what you thought about this episode. Put it down there. If there's anything that I forgot, feel free to put it in the comments section, and until next time.